Hi guys, Radhika here again. I hope you all are doing well. This video is about how to let go of expectations, and this is especially for the expectations that you might have um, of other people, of circumstances, or of just life in general. Um, Expectations, as I discussed in the previous video, is something that you imagined it to be a certain way or you wanted it to be a certain way, and it turns out to be another way, not the way that you wanted it to be. So, in a nutshell, that is what expectations are. It's maybe you wanted someone to behave in a particular way, and that person has not behaved in that particular way. Um, it's not just material things but also like people's reactions, people's behavior, etc. So all of that is basically expectations. And expectations, if you have them, if you are having expectations for someone or something, it is very similar to anger, because when you're angry on something or someone or some situation or some aspect of your life or even yourself, you are the person who's getting hurt because of the anger. The person who you are angry on or the situation you are angry on doesn't even have a clue that you're angry on them. The only person you're hurting with your anger is really yourself and your body, expectations are similar to this. So, if a lot of expectations are not met, they do turn into anger, in the long term. Um, Expectations are similar to anger, as in, if you are the one who's holding them, you will feel more pain, you will feel more suffering, rather than the one who is not fulfilling those expectations. So, that might be a person, or that might be a situation, or that might be an aspect of your life. That thing will not feel anything. You are the ones who are feeling the pain. So, a completely realized person, someone who is like enlightened, that person will not have any expectations, not of human beings, not of God, not of anyone. And we do have expectations even of God, right? So we ask God, why did you do this to me? Because we expect God is always going to be a particular way to us, and we feel like, why did God do this to me? And we kind of blame God then, and we have expectations of God also, that he should always give me a good life or a life that I wanted. So what is good? Good is something that you wanted, right? You wanted a life which was a certain way, um, which was agreeing with your ideas of good. We also have expectations of God. And a realized person, someone who has realized the truth of reality or nature of existence, will feel that having any expectation from anyone, including from God, is a little narcissistic. It's a little narcissistic to put the burden of expectation on someone or something, because that person is enlightened, right? They are completely empowered. They don't depend now on anyone or anything. The codependency has completely been removed. And now, basically, expectation is a part of codependency, because you are depending on something or someone to fulfill your expectations, and only then you will be happy. But as I said, most of us are not at the enlightened stage yet, or many of you might be. I'm not sure, I don't know. But if you are, then that's great. Then you are already beyond all this. But if you have troubles with expectations, which society builds into us, because we live in the society, we have expectation because it is a society of give and take. So when you are brought up with this environment around you of give and take, having expectations is very inbuilt in all of us, and it's not a bad thing. It's not something to feel ashamed about, but it's something that we can work on so that it troubles us less, and we remain in positive state for longer time, even if our expectations are not met. Some expectations that we have are of the heart. So it's something that you just expect because that is the way things are, and it is very natural to expect those things. So if you love someone, you will expect support. It's inbuilt into love, especially the attachment based love that most of us have in this society. No matter how true your love is, as if you have an expectation from that person you love, you have to realize it is an attachment based love. No matter how much effort and love and everything you have put into it, if there is an expectation, it is not a divine love. It is a attachment based love that comes from the Manipur chakra. And it's sometimes hard to hear that because I used to feel like, oh, I love, the love I have is like divine. But I just realized later in my life that my love was very attachment based. It was not unconditional, it was conditional. It was not, I could not stay in an abusive relationship, and that's conditional love, and that's the truth. um, and there's nothing to be like sorry about it or ashamed about it, because you should not stay in an abusive relationship. I mean, if you are so exalted to a level of, having divine love for everything and everyone, you probably will not be abused. But if you, most of us are not, so we have attachment, and so that's totally fine. We should not stay in an abusive relationship because it will stop us from going to that level of, achieving greatness or achieving enlightenment or remaining in the positive state of mind all the time. So yeah, we have expectations of the heart when we love someone, and then there are some expectations of society, like, you have to do certain things, and these expectations are the ones that probably are not that difficult to, like, if someone doesn't fulfill them, you just feel like that's fine, they're just not doing their duty. And there's so many people like that who don't do their duty. But the attachments of the heart are sometimes, expectations of the hearts are sometimes difficult to deal with, because if someone doesn't do their duty, what is the worst thing that will happen? You will say, okay, it was their duty but they are not doing it, so now I'm going to do it. So it will take away some part of your time, and you will probably be doing their work. But if it's something of the heart, that someone, you expected someone maybe to defend you or to stand by you in your troubled times, and they failed to do that, or they did the complete opposite, in which they pushed you even down, even more down, then it becomes a hurt in your heart, because you expected certain things and they did not do it. So you probably have to, work towards healing your heart a little bit. um, so yeah, so when expectations are unmet, they hurt us. And why do they hurt us? Because we imagined it to be this way and now it is this way. So it's kind of, it takes some time to, kind of balance yourself, or kind of come to peace with the realization that things are not this way, things are now this way. And it takes some time to do that. And you should probably give yourself that much time. Yeah, so I will tell here how to let go of expectations slowly and how to deal with unmet expectations. And I have used two ways in the past, and I'm kind of mentioning them here. So the first way is the logical way. So as I told you, I have always been like very, very logical. I'm an engineer by profession, so logic comes to me very naturally. I will always like look at things in a logical way, and I will always look at what is the procedure in which we want to solve this problem. So everything is very action oriented for me. uh, so I was a very action oriented person. So if you are a similar kind of a person, who is very like, let's just do it, let's just get it done, that kind of a person. And also, if you lack faith, because I did not have faith in God, or like, faith was not a very big part of my life. I did not practice faith. Although I did have faith in the universe, so I used to feel like everything happens for a reason, and everything that happens has to happen. So I had that much of understanding, but I did not have so much of faith. I did not have, what do you say, it's an inner confidence. When you have faith, just feel like everything is okay. So I did not have the faith. So if you are that kind of a person who is more logical, more like logic oriented and less faith oriented, then this way might work, might be easier for you to follow. So in this, just take yourself out for a tea or a coffee, or just sit with yourself alone when there's no one around and talk to yourself. Maybe not loudly, but if you want to do loudly, if you're alone, you can do that too. And if you want, you can write this down. So just stabilize yourself in the midst of all these expectations not being met, or this bad scenario that you are in, and ask yourself, okay, so now this has happened. I expected it to be this way, but now it is the other way. So now what do I do? Where do I go from here? So be your own friend, be your own psychotherapist, or be your own psychiatrist, be your own counselor, and ask, where do I go from here? Is there another thing that I can do instead of this thing that I wanted to happen? What is my plan B? And what are the steps that I can take to reach plan B? And you will have to motivate yourself to work on those steps. You will have to keep this grief of this thing not happening a little bit aside, and maybe tell yourself that let's first work on these actionable steps, and then when I have the time, I will revisit this grief. Don't just abandon it. You will revisit it, but now is not the time to be wallowing, because probably you have more things to do in order to get where you want to go. So you can come back to this when you are feeling, when you have done all you can to make this situation a little bit better. So you will have to motivate yourself. Now there's a disclaimer here that maybe plan B will also not work out, and you might have these thoughts in your head when you are motivating yourself, that what if that also doesn't work out, what if this also doesn't work out. And at that stage, the second method that I'm telling will come to help. And honestly, I feel both of these methods need to be used together, so that we can let go of expectations and know how to deal with unmet expectations. So both of them have to be in balance. So yeah, I'll discuss the second one later, but this logical way I will tell you in my own experience when I used it. So when my son was born, as I said, he was in the NICU, and I had no idea, I did not expect this, because my whole pregnancy was kind of okay, and I did not have a lot of trouble. I did not have, blood sugar, any of those things. All I did was I had like a little bit of blood pressure now and then, but which is kind of normal in pregnancy, because blood pressure does go up and down. So anyways, when he was born, it was quite a shock for me. Like, it was a big shock that this had to happen, and everything was within a day. In a day, I was admitted, I was operated on, my son was out of my body, and he was in an incubator. So it was very, very difficult for me to, kind of see him that way. And there was like 1,000 things going on in my brain. And at that time, it was very important for me to focus, because I had to be okay mentally so that my son gets better. And at that time, the logic is something that you can count on a lot. So when you are in a crisis situation, logic comes to your help, because if you are a logical kind of a person, you will have the capacity to keep your emotions a little bit aside. Don't abandon them, keep them aside, and say that now I have to do some things which are more important right now. I need to do those things right now. and then I can come back to these emotions. So, I literally sat down with myself and I used to tell myself that, okay, fine, this has happened, but what can I do now? And for that period of time, I needed to be positive. I needed to be, it was hard to be positive, but I needed to keep on going. I needed to do the needful. So, so if you are in that kind of a situation, you will have to, kind of use the logical parts of you more than the emotional parts, and don't abandon the emotional parts. You can keep them on the side and come back to them when you have the time, but now is the time of action. So now you have to perform your due. It's not even your duty, it's your action. It's a, it's something that comes very instinctively. It's not like a duty is very like society term. So so basically that's when I used the logical way. That is, what was my plan B? Okay, now my son is not so healthy at this stage, but that doesn't mean he will always be this way. So I looked, like I tried to do all the practical things that I could to help him grow, and that's what helped. And a lot of all the nurses and everyone used to motivate me a lot, so that helped me. And I used to keep motivating myself that, awesome, today he has gained some weight, today he has gained some more weight. So you have to keep motivating yourself, and you have to celebrate every small win. Celebrate every small thing that comes your way like it's a big thing, because then the small things will turn into big things, because that's your vibration. Now you are taking every small victory and you are being happy about it. And then when that is your vibration, the universe matches your vibration, and the universe will give you more victories, because it is seeing that here is a person who's welcoming all the victories, with everything that they have. And so yeah, that helped me a lot. Now, the second way is having faith. So, this works with people. If you already have faith in God, whichever God, there are so many religions in the world, and I think all of them are right. Or in creation, in universe, in goodwill, or even yourself. So, as long as you have faith in yourself, it's not pride, it's faith. So, the faith that you have in yourself is actually implicitly the faith that you have in that part of you which connects with the divine, which connects with God. So that is why you have faith in yourself, because pride is a different thing and ego is a different thing. I'm talking just about faith, the just the knowing that everything will be okay, I will be able to handle this. So that is faith. And that you think you might have it in you, but actually deep down it goes to that motivation or that inspiration that you get, and it actually comes from the divine consciousness. So even if you're an atheist and you believe in yourself more than you believe in God or supreme or something like that, that is totally fine as long as you have that faith. So yeah, so if expectations are not met, and if you have this faith, then you probably will tell yourself that everything that happened maybe was the way it was meant to be. So you will have that understanding that the things that happen, they happen for a reason, and it is okay. Whatever happened, it's okay. And it might take a long time for you to say that. So sometimes if your faith is very very strong, and I have seen some people like this, like the worst of things will happen to them, and they will still really feel that this is okay, this is what was meant to happen, this is what was meant for me. They will accept it, not that they will just sit there and take it all. They will accept it and they will move on. So the moving on is also important. So yeah, so if it takes a long time for you to say it to yourself, that's okay, because it took a long time for me too. I was always questioning, why did this happen? I was trying to find the reason. Did I not eat correct? Did I not do this? Did I not do that? And I was always questioning myself. And then finally, I just let go, and I actually let go to my angels. I just let it go, and I told them that, you know what, I really can't figure out what I did wrong, but I just let go of this to you, and can you please just handle this for me? And after that, somehow, little by little, I started getting a lot of faith. And when I got the faith, I felt like maybe this happened for a reason. And that doesn't mean, if you have faith, that doesn't mean you sit and take abuse. That is two different things. The faith part of it makes you stable, it makes you not so agitated anymore. But that does not mean that you just stay in the same situation and you keep, letting people abuse you. That's a different thing. The faith is only for yourself, so that you rid yourself of these expectations of, why are things this way with me? That you will get, that burden will get removed from you if you have faith. That does not mean you stay in the same situation. So you do something about it, you take some action. So, yeah, that is why I said that both these ways are important. Logically thinking about it is also important, and having faith is also important, because when both of these work together in balance, then A, you will get out of that situation which is abusive, and B, it will make you at peace wherever you are away from that situation. So yeah, in part B, having faith is, my example is the same thing. When a lot of things bad were happening in my life, I did not understand why this is happening, because I felt like I have a loving family, I have a caring family. And then the covert narcissist in my life, they blew their cover, and they turned everything against me and I was kind of like thrown under the bus, so to speak. And I was completely unaware, because I was so busy in taking care of my son and all these things that were more important to me, but this other part of my life was completely falling apart. So that's the time I realized, some incidents happened in my life which gave me faith, and which was very weird for me, because I was not at all into faith. I was into very action oriented, doing things on my own kind of a thing. So yeah, sometimes you will have storms in your life, but storms are when new things grow. When it rains, new things will sprout, they will germinate, and they will grow. And so we have to kind of learn to accept the storms that come into our life. Now, another subtopic here is that helped me, but maybe some of you might find it very weird. Is I saw this video on, and there are many books on it, which is called as Your Soul's Plan. So it is what your soul has already planned for you. So it's kind of like we come into this earth to learn certain things, to experience certain things, and all of this is pre-decided. And before we come into this body, we also agree to it. So it's not like, it's not a punishment that's given to you. It's kind of like you are in agreement with this. You decide that, okay, I'm going to go on this earth and I'm going to experience these things, and that's the purpose of my life, to experience these things and to come out of that experience in a positive vibration, not just remain in that abusive situation. So the empowerment is also a part of the learning out of any of the abusive situations you might have been in. So yeah, that gave me a lot of perspective, and I realized that everything that happened in my life had to happen. There was a reason for it, and that's that's how my life came to a point where I learned about narcissistic personality disorder, where I had a spiritual awakening because everyone turned against me and I was feeling all alone. And I had to, like I had to bring myself up again. So, so when you actually go through that process, you feel somehow that everything had to happen. And that realization came to me, and I hope it comes to you too. And that does not mean that you accept the behavior that was given to you. No, that is wrong behavior. In fact, now you have the understanding that that is wrong behavior, and that you have to stop. You have to try your best to stop such behavior and make yourself stronger, so that you can stop such behavior on a bigger scale. Maybe not just go and correct the narcissist, but do something about it, and that about it could be a lot of different things. So basically I just realized that I'm connected to a supreme consciousness that is beyond this human realm. And these humans who are trying to abuse me, or trying to kill my self esteem and my spirit, they have nothing on me because they are just trying, and let them try. And they are not going to, I know they're not going to succeed, but let them try. Maybe they came here to try that. That's why they came to this earth. So yeah, it kind of fit all in with me in my life. So yes, using these techniques, I kind of rid myself of expectations, and I don't expect so much from people anymore. Even from the people who are very closest to me, I don't expect. And that's truly when you can learn to let go, and you will feel it. As soon as you expect something, you will feel like there's a constriction in your energy, because now you're expecting something and you're waiting for something to happen. But as soon as you let go of the expectation, you become happy in this moment. You are not constricted anymore. You are open, with open arms. You are saying, let anything come and I will handle it. Let anything come, and the divine consciousness will help me handle it. Or my logic, which is also through divine consciousness, will help me handle it. I will handle this. And so, as soon as that becomes your attitude, anxiety goes away and expectations go away, and this feeling of unhappiness goes away. So a lot of things are tied to expectations. And when we start on this process of letting go of expectations, it will help you a lot, I hope, because it has helped me a lot. And yeah, it has just helped me live a fuller and a better life. I'm just happier more than I used to be, and I'm at peace more than I used to be, and I enjoy life more than I used to. So yeah, so I hope this happens to you too, and this is like my effort to kind of if my experience helps you in certain way, then I would be grateful for that. And yep, this was it. And if you have any other ways, please do write in the comments, and like, share, subscribe these videos. And I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.